What's good?
Mic check. Good evening or morning, depending on when you're hearing this. This is leg day again. A redo from our second video. Not a redo, but a different leg day here. Very similar exercises. And here you catch me doing a bit of a warm up. I usually go for a dynamic warm up before I start. So here's a little bit of that. And you'll catch us doing almost similar exercises, like I said, starting with heavy squats, like getting the heavy stuff out of the way, especially if it's a complex movement like the squat here. One thing I did notice as we move on from this is that I didn't like the way my squat was coming out. I wasn't coming into a depth that I would like, and I was also deviating from my form. So at the moment, I'm working on dropping the weight and working on improving my form by doing lighter weight, still moderately heavy, but I'm doing more of a single every 2 to 3 minutes, just to make sure I have the movement down right with heavy resistance. That way I can build myself back up to this resistance, which is I hit about 365, and I don't know what Victor hits, but it ain't the same as me, that's for sure. You already know that. And his form also starts to deviate when he goes heavy, so it's something that we're gonna definitely work on for the next videos. And that's one thing about making these videos. You can watch yourself if you weren't doing it before, and see where you are failing to make the adjustments that you need to carry heavier weight in a more efficient and safe manner, like in the squat.
Nice.
So for me, it's more of shifting my weight onto my right leg and not getting depth as well as I want to. The other thing is that my butt comes up before my back, and it's not a fluid movement like I want it to be.
It's not working.
The heavy weight is there, and I'm able to kind of lift it at a limited range, as you can see here. And like I said, my weight shift is to the right. Coming on to Victor's squat, let's see how he does. I think his problem is also his butt comes up before the rest of his body starts moving up. So he gets a lot of his movement through his lower back as well, and you probably won't be able to tell, but when I was watching him, he has a lot of movement through his low back instead of using his hips and his knees and having a very fluid movement when the weight gets heavy. Similar problem with the depth as well. Maybe not coming as deep, and he has a very wide stance for some reason, which I'm sure is also limiting his range. Coming out to the front squat. So after this, we did about 7 sets of anywhere between 3 to 2, or working up to 3 to 2 on our final couple sets of the squat. After that, the rest of the exercises are more for volume, so 4 sets of anywhere between 10 to 12, I would say, is what we were doing. And the day after this, I was pretty darn sore. So I would say it was a good workout. Again, dropping the weight to, after I realized on the squat that I wasn't really able to get proper form or as good as I wanted it to be. With the rest, I decided to really drop the weight, but definitely keeping a lot more time under tension just to get more that still getting benefits out of the resistance that I was using, and not just limiting myself to a 4 sets of 8 with light weight. So I went to anywhere, and I say anywhere between 10 to 12, depending on when I started to feel fatigued and when I started to feel that I needed to rack that weight up. So coming into a straight-legged deadlift on a platform just to get a little more range out of that. Again, lightweight. Keeping the motion fluent and always keeping the tension with these exercises that we did here. That was the one thing we were doing after we dropped the weight. We were definitely keeping a lot more tension throughout the exercise. So those 10 to 12 repetitions landed us anywhere between 35 to 45 seconds of time under tension. So that's a pretty good target range right there. And here is Victor's view. Not too bad, except for he needs to work on a few things on there. Not shearing through his low back as much, but hey, we'll get there. And it's another thing with these videos that we're able to do is I'm able to catch a few things that he's doing wrong, which is, by a few I mean a lot, and able to help him out with that. And again, I don't usually do this machine, which is knee extension machine. Definitely targets the quads, that's for sure. But I don't like to use it just because it's too isolating. I think you can get a lot more benefits from doing more complex movements that can include a little more range as well. Although this does put some pretty good tension on the quadriceps. I still prefer to do like a hack squat. By the time this video is up, we're probably not going to put up another video for maybe I'd say about 2 weeks, only because I've been in and out of town, and Victor keeps getting sick, so we have to baby his tummy aches a little bit just so he doesn't feel left out on the videos, even though he gets a lot of the camera time, but whatever. So it'll be a few weeks, but we'll try to get chest day up next time we do a video. At the time, I'm also not feeling too well myself, but it's all good. We'll just get healthier, come back to the gym, get together and work out. But here we are getting close to our last sets. Pose for the cam real quick, hit him with that flex, and get back to work after that. And for calves, I'm not doing a lot of weight, but I'm going to start loading it up a little more and stop and sacrifice some time under tension for the load. So we'll see how that works out for me.
Getting ready to go.
And then I believe this is the last exercise, seated hamstring curls, which again I'm not a big fan of, but at the gym we were just experimenting with exercises, adding a little bit of what I do and a little bit of what Victor does on his leg days. So this is something that I'm not used to doing, but it definitely targets the hamstrings if that's what you want. And by this point I am exhausted because the other exercises were pretty good at doing what we wanted them to do, keeping our time under tension like I mentioned earlier. And it definitely was a good workout, even though it wasn't really my type of workout, but hey, it worked out. So that is it for this video. You saw the exercises that we did. We'll be back in a few weeks when we're healthy and ready to lift again. In the meantime, you can watch the rest of our videos and watch us get better at editing.